Who is eligible for weatherization assistance, and do you have to be a homeowner to qualify?
Well, as I said earlier, typically someone in North Carolina whose family income, a typical family of 4, is less than $45,000 a year will likely be eligible. They can be homeowners or they can be renters. If they're renters, they have to have permission of the landlord to go ahead and do that. And again, the weatherization agencies in their communities can work with the residents to make that arrangements and to accomplish that. One of the things that I think is interesting, that I think would be interesting for Reginald and for Garmin to talk about a little bit about, is what is the process when someone contacts their offices to get weatherization? What kind of information do they need, and a little bit about sort of what people could expect?
Part of our eligibility requirement, just to touch base on, to follow up with what Seth said, part of our eligibility requirement is going to be to get the income for everyone in the household. And the household for this particular program is for everyone living there. Some of the programs that's run, federal programs, state programs, household is for everyone that's related by blood, marriage, or adoption. For this particular program, it is everyone that's in the household. So it's an application process that's required. It's a grant-funded program, so the eligibility is based on income for everyone in the household. That's fixed income, that's employment income, any type of income that's coming in the household we use for eligibility. That eligibility then is based on household sizes, as Seth has already touched base with. And then once we go through that application process and do those qualifications, we also require the 12-month income that I mentioned, and then 12 months worth of utility bills prior to the weatherization work being performed. We use that as a means to evaluate how effective the weatherization is after we have done the work, the actual utility cost. That's any type of utility that's there, not just electric, but gas, water, what have you, and also proof of ownership, because we want to make sure we're going to do some work to a house that the person who's dwelling there owns it, except for in a situation where it's a rental situation, as Seth just mentioned a few moments ago.
And you said you needed to get documentation after the work has been completed, to see just how effective the program will be, I guess, not only to that particular home, but to the program as a whole?
That is correct. We want to look at the pre-utility costs before we go into the home, and then we want to look at a year's worth of utility bills after we have done the work, because that way we can go through different heating and cooling cycles and different seasons or what have you to determine our effectiveness. So we're measured on our savings, and so the savings not necessarily attached to dollars, and that's one of the things that we try to make sure that we handle as it relates to energy education. The dollar that is spent may increase depending upon whether or not the utility itself, the dollar value increased. Case in point, if you recall a few years back where the price of oil, heating oil, increased. Well, we can provide these services for weatherization, but a person's utility bill could increase because of the price of the unit of measure of the utility that is being consumed.